Hi guys and welcome to Premier League Week 31. Not a lot of games on this weekend due to the FA Cup, but I usually give the results anyway for when the teams do face each other, like say on the Tuesday or the Wednesday for the for the catching up and that. So we would have had this weekend Tottenham versus Newcastle. Good win for Tottenham last week, I think, but Bournemouth just fell to pieces in the end. Took the goal well. Took the lead well, but then they just fell to pieces in the end. I think Tottenham were just far too strong for them. So as I say, kills me to say it, but I think Tottenham are a really good side, and I can see them being one of the teams that are going to challenge for the title next season. Obviously, they would have been facing Newcastle. And when they do face Newcastle, I think they're going to be far too strong for Newcastle as well, and it's at Wembley. So I'm going to go Tottenham 3, Newcastle 1. Then we would have had Burnley versus Chelsea. Chelsea got. I didn't watch the match, but I've watched like their fan TV and that, and their tweets, and apparently Barcelona just run them ragged. Apparently Chelsea didn't even turn up. And that kind of like tells its own story. When they're losing 3-0. And I don't think that they would beat Burnley either. It's a Turf Moor. It's a horrible place to go to. Their confidence is low. So I'm going to go for a draw in this game when they face each other. I'm going to go Burnley 1, Chelsea 1. We do have a game this weekend. We have Stoke versus Everton. Stoke really desperately in need of 3 points. They've just lost Mark Hughes as well. He's gone to Southampton. Everton not having the greatest seasons themselves, but I think they're the better side, than Stoke. So I'm going to go Stoke 1, Everton 2. Then we have 3 o'clock, Huddersfield versus Crystal Palace. I'm actually going to go for a lively game in this one. Two teams that have been really appalling in defending, but they can give you a really good fight as well. They're two tough sides, so I'm going to go for a really lively game in this one. I'm going to go Huddersfield 2, Crystal Palace 2. Then we would have had Leicester versus Arsenal. Good win for Arsenal against AC Milan. Back 3 wins in a row now, actually. AC Milan, Watford, and then obviously AC Milan. Leicester, they're a bit of a different side. It would have been at Leicester as well. I don't think Arsenal would have been able to cope with the physicality of Leicester, especially being away from home. But I think we would have got away with a draw. So for that game, I'm going to go Leicester 1, Arsenal 1. Then we would have had Swansea versus Southampton. And again, two teams that have been really poor. Two teams that are in desperate need of 3 points. But I'm not going to give them the 3 points. I can't see any team taking the game by the scruff of the neck for either of their sides. So for this game, I'm going to go Swansea 0, Southampton 0. Then at 3 o'clock, we have Bournemouth versus West Brom. Again, I think a couple of more losses for West Brom, and I think they're more or less going to be a championship side next season. Bournemouth, as I say, they started off well last week against Tottenham, but Tottenham were just far too strong for them. Obviously, I think that it's going to be the other way around this weekend. I think that Bournemouth are going to be far too strong for West Bromwich Albion, and I'm going to go Bournemouth 2, West Bromwich Albion 0. At 5:30, we have Liverpool versus Watford, and again there were signs in that game. Even though yes, I know that Arsenal beat Watford 3-0, but there were signs in that game, where Watford were testing us a little bit, but again, I think that Liverpool will probably try and set up the way that we set up, and just go all guns blazing out. Really, you've got nothing to lose. They've more or less secured top 4, I think. Not going to win the title, so you've got nothing to lose. Just go all guns blazing out, and you should have this game pretty much won. So I'm going to go Liverpool 3, Watford 1. And then on the Sundays, we would have had West Ham versus Manchester United. All the scenes at West Ham last week. So I don't know how they stand at the moment, but they've been dreadful again this season. West Ham. Well, I'll say it again this season, but they've had a poor season considering the players that they signed. Like they signed Joe Hart. They signed Javier Hernandez. And the players and also the players that they already had there, like Mark Noble and that. You thought they would have had a good, decent season, but they've been really poor. And you can understand the fans' frustration. Coming from an Arsenal point of view, I know exactly where they're coming from. Moving to a new stadium and not performing, not putting the money into the club properly. So again, you'd expect Manchester United to be far too strong for West Ham when they do face each other, and obviously with the confidence being low, West Ham, I can't see them getting their next win, to be fair. So for that game, I'm going to go West Ham 0, Manchester United 2. And then we would have had Manchester City versus Brighton. And again, Manchester City need to beat Brighton. And then when they face Manchester United, they've more or less won the title. So no mucking about from Manchester City. I think they'll get the job done nice and early. I'm going to go Manchester City 2, Brighton 0. So that's been my predictions for this week, guys. The video's a little bit short this weekend, because obviously I've just rushed through them because there's not many games on, to like analyse and that. So I will see you in 2 weeks' time. It's an international break. I hate international breaks during midway season, but it's something that goes ahead, and we just have to get on with it. So thank you for joining me, guys, and I'll see you in 2 weeks' time. Thank you for watching.